Good evening. Earlier this evening, GB News reported that Reform UK chairman Zia Youssef resigned from the party, effective immediately. Writing on X, Youssef wrote, 11 months ago, I became the chairman of Reform. I've worked full-time as a volunteer to take the party from 14 to 30%, quadrupled its membership and delivered historic electoral results. I no longer believe working to get a Reform government elected is a good use of my time, and hereby resign the office. This came after what has been claimed to be an internal party disagreement after new Reform MP Sarah Pochin asked the Prime Minister about a burqa ban in Parliament yesterday. Well, speaking to GB News tonight, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage responded to his chairman's resignation.
If Zia Youssef is watching this interview, which I'm sure he will, what would be your message to him?
Thank you. Thank you for coming in, for being so loyal to me, and for enabling me to travel around the country campaigning whilst you were there in London, getting the nuts and bolts in place.
But is there more to this? We are joined now by our political editor, Christopher Hope. And Christopher, I believe that you've spoken to basically everyone involved in this situation. What have you got for us?
That's right, hi Patrick. Everyone apart from Zia Youssef, who isn't answering phones. Now, I think if you talk to Nigel Farage privately, he does say what he's saying there publicly. He appreciates the work put in by Zia Youssef. This party has gone from 0 to 120 miles an hour in political terms, from 20,000 members a year ago to 235,000 members, from 0 MPs to 5 MPs. So yes, he has done a lot to professionalise this party, which was nowhere, frankly, onto the same level. It is now a significant party leading in the polls, but the big issue hanging over Reform UK has always been, how do you professionalise it? How can you take on these main parties, these legacy parties, and match them toe-to-toe? In the past year, yes, they've added MPs and members. They've also lost one MP in Rupert Lowe and now a chairman. And people look at this and go, is it a serious party of opposition? Now, Aaron Lobo, who used to work at GB News, of course, he is now the operations director and has been there since May the 1st. Some will say he's gone because of those remarks by Sarah Pochin, who played there at PMQs about should the burqa be banned. He clearly took exception to that and said so on the Twitter last night. But it looks like there's been issues going back since before that. Nigel Farage privately, we were hearing that Zia Youssef has had enough. He's been working 100 hours a day, lots of pressure on social media, on X. That can be quite a grim place, particularly in politics, particularly if you try and challenge all the main parties and also lead a new insurgency from the right of politics and take it into middle ground. Who might replace him? Well, we're getting the runners and riders now. Aaron Banks, the former bad boy of Brexit, who, of course, funded Nigel Farage's 2016 referendum campaign, he might do it. Nick Candy, the Treasurer, he might do it. Or maybe Anne Widdecombe. What I'm told by Reform Insider is it needs someone who isn't really worried, isn't maybe from the kind of business, the pressurised business world, is more used to dealing with people in politics where basically everyone is working for free for an idea. There aren't, most people you deal with in politics aren't your employees. They're doing it because they believe in it. And it's that difference, I think, which Widdecombe might understand, certainly Banks. I've talked to Banks in the past 2 hours for you, Patrick. He tells me this: if Nigel wants me to do it, if he asks me, I'll do anything Nigel wants within reason. Banks stands ready to take over as Reform UK Party chairman, but the problem the party's got is trying to make itself electable, an obvious party of government, and tonight is a major backward step for this insurgent party.
Christopher, I can just stick with you for a second on a couple of points that you've raised there. So what Nigel is trying to do, and he had an brilliant interview with Martin Daubney earlier this evening, he was trying to say, look, thank you very much, Zia. Look, it's a bit stressful, it's a bit too much. I compare that to Zia Youssef's statement, which says that he believes it's no longer a good use of his time. I thought that was a little bit off. So first question is, do you buy the fact that this is amicable? The second question is, it looks from what you were saying that it's not really all about the burqa, is it?
No, I think it's not. I think that behind the scenes, it sounds like there's a lot of pressure on Zia Youssef. He was back at base trying to control and organise, professionalise the operation. He's been spending time with this Doge group, this Department of Government Efficiency, this copycat of Elon Musk, going into councils where they now have controlled 10 councils. Is very disappointing, this, I think, for people who watch Reform UK, who believe in that party. They saw a party which had its hands on power across millions of people's lives with these councils, and the real focus was how would they use that power? Would they deliver on it, clear out woke spending, non-core spending, put it back into the pockets of people who can try and make things better for millions of people who feel overlooked, I think, by the main parties. And this is yet another example, I think, of people falling out at the top level. Nigel Farage, of course, he's used to working these long hours, and it can be a challenge for people who aren't maybe used to the fact of giving your life to it, dealing with people who don't work for you necessarily. You're dealing with volunteers, trying to corral them into the right place. As Nigel Farage has said, he's seen before how business people can't quite mix with the political world and the chaotic nature of that. And that's why maybe Anne Widdecombe could be a different chairman, more of a kind of a soothing balm over troubled waters. We'll wait and see.
Well, Christopher, thank you very, very much. And we will be going back to Christopher Hope, our political editor, later on. So thank you so much. Just to confirm there, he was saying that Aaron Banks, the bad boy of Brexit, Anne Widdecombe or Nick Candy are looking like the most likely replacements for Zia Youssef. Look, moving on. I mean, gosh, there was moments before I came on air, Elon Musk, talking of fallout, decided to put a post out on X saying that President Trump is named in the Epstein files, which is why they've not come out. We'll be touching on that later. But, well, sticking a little bit with both Britain and Trump, do you think that Britain should copy President Trump and impose a travel ban on dangerous nations and deport the family members of terrorists? In Colorado, America, this happened. An Egyptian immigrant who was apparently in America illegally reportedly attacked elderly Jewish people with Molotov cocktails. So then Trump did this. He promised to deport him, his wife and their 5 kids immediately. And then the president did this.
Recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country.
I want you to listen to this very closely because these are the countries deemed dangerous, all right? Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan and Yemen. And the reason I want you to listen closely to that is because there are 2 very important things here for Britain, for us here in Britain. Currently, we've got this.
Good morning. GB News can exclusively reveal that over 1,200 migrants crossed the Channel yesterday.
Yes, it's a new record, if you like, with border officials forced to call on fishing boats for help.
Right, we're on for 50,000 illegal Channel migrants this year. Many of them come from those countries on Trump's banned list. Look at the list of countries with the highest visa overstay rate. Chad, Myanmar, Sudan, Equatorial Guinea, you noticing anything here? Eritrea, Haiti, Afghanistan, Congo. Some of these people are either breaking into countries like ours illegally or illegally overstaying their visas. And President Trump has just banned them all. So why can't we do the same? And when foreign nationals commit crimes in Britain, like Pakistani men who raped working-class white girls on an industrial scale, why don't we deport them, deport their wives and their kids as well, assuming they have dual nationality, of course? Do you think that Trump would have let those monsters, like those grooming gang monsters, stay in America? No. So why do we let them stay in Britain? Let's get the thoughts of my panel.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
We, of course, have former Tory MP Jane Stevenson, Reform UK councillor Jamie McIver and ex-Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. Great to have Tory Reform and Labour on tonight for a variety of different reasons that we will go on to, of course. Yeah, Jane, I'll start with you. Look, firstly, Trump's travel ban and deporting people's families if they commit crimes. Should we be doing both of those things in Britain?
I looked at the Telegraph, who were running a poll before we came. 87% of votes there supported Trump's travel ban. I think certainly if I wanted to go and live in another country, if I broke the law, I'd expect to be kicked out, and quite rightly so.
What about your partner?
I think that would depend. If they were innocent, they could make the decision to either stay or go. But at the moment, someone would lodge a human rights claim and say, oh, I've got the right to a family life, I can stay here. But
Jamie, do you find it frustrating that you see that in America there, a terrible incident in Boulder, Colorado, a bloke takes Molotov cocktails to a load of Jewish people. The president's response there is, right, you're off, your wife and kids are off, and you know what? We're banning people from any country that we now deem dangerous. Over here, we just let them stay.
Well, isn't it nice to see the leader of a country actually protect the borders of the country and actually make decisions and put national security first? I think it's very refreshing. Actually, I feel quite jealous of American citizens right now because we have a government that is not interested in having any border security. And quite frankly, we know there's a national security. We've got our own instances in this country, and yet we appear to have a government that, frankly, does nothing about it.
Matthew, there is a direct correlation between the countries on President Trump's banned list and the nationalities of people who are sailing across the English Channel every single day, pretty much. Why are we letting them in? Trump set the path for us there. You can ban those countries, put them on a travel ban. No one from those countries should come to Britain. Why don't we do it?
Well, first of all, I imagine that this ban and the way he's done it, which is performative, captures headlines, it sounds attractive to a lot of people on paper, will actually be struck down by the courts, which is what happened with the last time he tried to do a travel ban, the so-called Muslim travel ban, when a whole list of countries, all of which were Muslim. Look, let's just be real about this. The small boats crisis is a crisis. Neither the Tory nor the Labour government have successfully tackled it. There are things like that the government is doing. It's going to, like putting into law that the right to a family life has to have a common sense test in it. Thank goodness for that. Let's see if it works, but at least it's a good thing to do. In terms of people coming from these countries, the travel ban is you now can't, rock up at JFK in the airport from these countries and you won't get in, period. If you want to come here from those countries, you have to have a visa anyway, so you're being interviewed on site. The point is that those are the countries with the highest overstay of the visa rates. The visas are then we need to tighten the visa requirements. I mean, certainly we can't tighten when they get here. Why not just stop them? Because I don't think you can impose an absolute blanket ban, because there are some genuine reasons that people would come, you know, for business reasons or for others. But we need to be pretty careful who we're letting in from countries where people are staying over their limit.
I'm really unconvinced about what business people we are letting in from South Sudan and Eritrea, but I'm willing to be proved wrong on that. Jane, when it comes to the Pakistani rape gangs, I think that's the most stark example. I don't think there's any chance in hell that President Trump would have let those people stay in America. We're letting them stay here. Why?
Yeah, don't know. I think that's a really good point. I think if you break the law of this country, it is a privilege to get the right to come and live here. If you break that sort of commitment and that contract with our country, I think if you are still a dual citizen, I have no issue with people being sent out.
Jamie, is it unfair, though, to deport someone's wife and kids?
No, I don't think it is. I think this is, look, case-by-case basis. If you've got a family that knew that there was someone in their family who's a perpetrator of some of these horrific instances, when it comes to the rape gang, then of course, it's only right that those people are treated as complicit in a crime. And, of course, people that have entered the country illegally have broken the law the minute they arrive here illegally. We are a soft-touch country at the moment. It's actually really sad to see that countries very similar to us with our values are actually making decisions with national security in mind. And we seem to be a soft-touch country at the moment. That's really sad.
Just on that, I mean, the natural thing to do, Matthew, obviously, is to hold a mirror up to what's going on in America versus what's going on here. Now, President Trump has come in, taken some hard line action, called in the military in some cases. The illegal crossings at the southern border appear to have basically stopped, and they were on steroids over there. It made our Channel migrant crisis look like child's play. It's gone the other way here with Keir Starmer. It's gone even worse than anyone could have imagined. You know, like you compare and contrast to what's going on over there, and you just think it's showing Starmer up, isn't it?
Well, I think what it's doing is showing that the Channel migrant problem hasn't been solved by any of the parties, and you actually are going to have to stop people.
There's no political will from the Labour Party.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that that's true, because you've seen this week, for example, that actually the French are now saying they're going to actually do what they didn't do when the Tories were writing the cheque for years. It's going to take a couple. Let's hope it takes a couple of months. Just on the rape gangs, you know, the truth of the matter is that when we say Pakistani rape gangs, what we mean is Pakistani heritage rape gangs. That most of the people who have been convicted are British citizens who were born here but have Pakistani heritage. So, I mean, you know, you can't start throwing out British citizens.
Well, you can't. Maybe much got a Pakistani passport.
You can't make people completely stateless. I don't know where you'd send them, because nobody would have them.
To Pakistan.
Well, they won't have Pakistani citizenship, so the Pakistani government probably wouldn't take them.
Well, a lot of them have got dual nationality.
Well, if you've got dual nationality...
That in itself is a bit of a joke, isn't it? You know, what do you want to be? You love this country so much, but you want to just keep, a little backup plan? You know, that in itself is disrespectful to the British people, I think.
Yeah, look, it seems absolutely bonkers, to be perfectly honest with you. Look, there's a heck of a lot to get stuck into tonight. We've done the reform fallout. We're going to be touching back on that a little bit later on. If you're just joining us, the Reform Chairman, Zia Youssef, has quit. The runners and riders to replace him are Aaron Banks. We've got Anne Widdecombe, who's a regular on this channel, as well as Nick Candy, who's the Treasurer, and I think one of the richest men in Britain. Yeah. I think that's right. I think he owns Britain's most expensive house, and is married to Holly Valance, I believe, as well. So there's just some stuff about Nick Candy there for you. But